Resident Evil 7. Um, there's recently been an interview with the series producer Masachika Kawata, and he answered some questions. And one of the things he said about Resident Evil 7 is if it were an action game, they would have had to have superheroes fighting in space. What? I mean, what?
That's really the only response you can have.
And still be considered sane. I mean, what? Huh? Okay, some context here. So yes, in this interview with the series producer, of course they've just released a newer demo for Resident Evil 7 called Midnight, and that involves it. There's actually a monster in it, and you are equipped with a gun. So we have some classic Resident Evil elements in the game, and it's not just a walk around and don't get killed game. So, hey, that's a good thing, because we don't want to completely abandon everything that Resident Evil does. Now, as far as the reaction by fans, Kawata said that they always want more, but for a horror game, the less revealed ahead of time, the more enjoyable the actual game experience will be. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's pretty fair to say, since it's a horror game, to not reveal too much about the game ahead of time?
Yes, because there's only so much you can use as a... there's not a lot of ways that horror can actually catch you off guard. Or if there are, it's best to save those and just show the expected every other horror game has this, jump scares and other things like that. But then just throwing something in that's just completely unexpected that you wouldn't see coming based off the demo. That's good. So I think giving people enough to just be like, oh, this is what the new game is going to be like, I want more.
Yeah.
That's going to be everyone's reaction, is they're going to want to know more, especially with this, because there's a whole lot that was said and nothing was answered in this whole demo. It was here's some stuff. Did you like it? Cool. Wait 5 more months.
Oh, and by the way, this demo is not a part of the final game. It's a standalone experience. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that. The one that you played.
I did not know that.
That will not be in the game.
So I can't even be somewhat prepared.
No, it's all going to be new for you. You're not going to come to that part and be like, oh, this is kind of a comfortable
I know what's
spot.
going to happen.
It's like a nice warm blanket I can just kind of wrap around myself for a moment, because I know exactly what's up next. No.
Okay, see, that's another, that's a really good thing to do for horror games, because if you have something in there and everyone expects that, exactly, I wouldn't be completely fine, but I'd be like, okay, I'm about to get scared right now, and then
okay, you got me.
Knowing that that's not going to be in the game just made this so much worse for me.
Oh, man, you'll be fine.
Other than the gameplay trailers that we've seen, are those even going to be in it? The parts where you're hiding from the lamp? Okay.
It's just that demo with the dummy finger.
Cool. So there's some did anyone ever find out what that finger was for?
Yes, but I've heard that what you use it for is really it's crazy what you have to do to use it, and it just didn't pique my interest. But yes, it has been solved.
Cool. That's as far as I want to go into that.
Yeah. So I think I'm so glad to hear this man say these words, because as much as I didn't dislike Resident Evil 5 or Resident Evil 6. Like, I feel like they have their place. There were some parts where it's just like, okay, now I'm just playing a shooter game. The only scary part is, ooh, these monsters look kind of gross. I mean, there's so many games out there that do that, and that's not what people want from Resident Evil. People who play, I think people who play Resident Evil, and this is the thing with 4. 4, as good of a game as it was, I think what Capcom took from it is they're like, well, Resident Evil 4 completely outsold the first 3 in Code Veronica. So it must be because of the action that people liked it. No, that's not it. People liked it because, number one, and by the way, like, I don't know if anyone else notices this, but, and if you like the first Resident Evil games, that's fine. I don't know how you play 3 games, though, that are all in the same location around the same time. Because you have Resident Evil 1, takes place in a mansion. Resident Evil 2 takes place 24 hours after the events of Resident Evil 1, and it's in the city. It's in the actual Raccoon City. And then Resident Evil 3 takes place between 1 and 2, and it's still in Raccoon City. So it was kind of weird what they were doing. Like, they were really focused on this event in Raccoon City in 1998. And I just don't think that you can, like, they definitely got their mileage out of it. But Resident Evil 4, what did it bring? It brought a change of scenery. We weren't even in America anymore. We were in what looked like to be Spain, in a rural village in Spain. We didn't have zombies. We had these, like, new people that were smart. The AI was so insane. The different lengths that these people will do to get to you. You're not safe anywhere in this game.
Third person camera angle.
Yeah, the third person, you no longer have the fixed camera angles that made things so awkward.
I did not like that. I watched someone play through the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a fan of that, and I don't know how people were able to play a game like that.
Yeah, they're called tank controls for a reason, because you're not really controlling a person, you're controlling a tank. And yeah, I've never played the original 3, and I don't really want to, because of the, archaic game design. Great games for the time, and if they remake Resident Evil 2 like they're talking about, like, I would prefer them to make it more like a Resident Evil 4 as far as the controls go and everything like that. I don't think they're going to do it like that, and I know there's plenty of people that are just like, no, I just want it to be like the original Resident Evil remake that they did, that has, like, the really, really high resolution character models and backgrounds, but still has the fixed camera angles. That's probably what they're going to do. But I kind of feel like with Resident Evil 4, they're like, oh, so everyone likes action. Let's do that more in 5, and then do more so in 6. And at that point, it had kind of gotten to be a parody of itself. So I'm really glad that they're kind of, he's basically they're taking a less is more approach, very, like, Hitchcockian. It's what you don't see that's scary. The sound design in that game is great. So they also were talking about the Resident Evil Revelations, and kind of talking about, well, like, now that you've kind of established Resident Evil Revelations as it's kind of separate type of Resident Evil game, is this going to be the more action-oriented type of game? And all he said about that was, Capcom does see the split between people who appreciate the classic style and those who want action-heavy Resident Evil, and that action-heavy Resident Evil is being kept in mind for the future. So this is not going to be an action game, 7 at all. It's going to be kind of a return to the roots. And then they got into talking about Resident Evil 6, and this is where that quote came from. He said, after 6, we figured, yeah, we can't get bigger than this. If we wanted to keep pushing the envelope, Resident Evil 7 would have been about superheroes fighting in space. So he was just being a bit superfluous there.
All right. Well, that's
And during this interview, and you can find these notes in the Destructoid article, and they just kind of talked about the different films that inspired it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw, Evil Dead, and even the original Resident Evil. I guess Resident Evil movie were influential, and that's terrible. Have you ever seen any of the Resident Evil films?
I saw one of them.
I saw the first one. It's dumb. I don't want to see any of the others based on what I saw in the first one. But yeah, Resident Evil 7 is coming out next month. It will not have superheroes fighting in space, but it will have plenty of things that Matt's just gonna love, I feel.
See,
You will love this game, Matt.
when it comes to like gore and stuff, like I'm fine with that. Like The Walking Dead, I'm okay with a lot of the stuff that happens. I even I took a second to reflect on myself because I was eating tacos while watching an episode of The Walking Dead. And I was just like, is this okay?
Is this normal for a human being?
I was like, is it weird that I'm perfectly fine with eating a messy, meaty food while watching zombies tear into people?
So the deal with that is, it's fine because you know on a certain level, doesn't matter how much you get into the show, this is fake. This is fantasy. This is not something real that I'm watching.
Caught on a landslide, no escape from reality.
If you did watch like a real life, I don't know, what's the term? Autopsy? I worry about those types of people. And we need those types of people because they need to do their jobs. They need to operate on the human body. They can't let certain things ignore it. They need to look at the human body like it's nothing more than than a machine, like a mechanic going to work on a car. You people kind of creep me out, but you are definitely necessary, and I hold you in high regard and esteem. But it is a bit abnormal if you do kind of I kind of feel like you have to be in a certain mindset to be a serial killer and not having dead bodies around you bother you.
Yeah, I was like, I know this is a video game. I know that. But I'm looking at this image of the family eating dinner, and there's just intestines and just everything.
Yeah, and they've done that picture, and that's what I've got up here. They do that picture, and it's done in such a way where I kind of don't know what it is they're eating, and I don't want to know. It seems like they're cannibals, though.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, that's what I would guess. But it's coming. It is coming.